Hi, I'm David Dowdy, the owner of Action Coach Lake Norman, your local training and coaching organization for small businesses in the area. And I'm excited to have William Ward on the Business Spotlight today and look forward to hearing from him. William, why don't you go ahead and introduce yourself and your company and tell us a little bit about how you got started and kind of what you provide to the marketplace?
Yeah, awesome. Thank you, David. Yeah, so my name is William Ward. I'm the founder and CEO of Flexi. Flexi is a future of work technology company that focuses on connecting young people 16 to 24 to their first job opportunities and helping them find their pathways to their future career, um, uh, uh, aspiration.
Fantastic.
Yeah.
And you're located in Charlotte, right?
We're headquartered in Charlotte, North Carolina. We've been around for about 3 years now.
Okay.
Yeah.
So you mind sharing a little bit of your story? You don't necessarily sound like you have a North Carolina accent there.
No, so yeah, so I'm originally from Liberia, West Africa. I've been in Charlotte for a while now, for about since the early 2020s. So yeah, so I came to this country actually as a refugee fleeing war from my home country, Liberia. And when I came to Charlotte at first, I went through some initial challenges as a teenager trying to go to school with limited resources. And I had to juggle, going to school and caring for myself. And it was a tough start. It took me almost 5 years to complete a 2-year community college degree. And so, I persevered through that, went on to get my bachelor's degree as well as a master's in information technology, and also an MBA, focusing on business and entrepreneurship. Right, and that's the reason why I founded Flexi, so that young people like myself can have the opportunity to meet their full potential by getting access to opportunities that align with their lifestyle and their career aspiration.
That's fantastic, man. To have had that kind of a rough start, you've got quite the education now, and so you've been applying that education for 3 years now with Flexi, right? So
Correct.
if you had to start all over again, knowing what you know now after 3 years in business on your own, what do you think you might do differently?
Right. So, yeah, starting, anything is tough, and we had to learn the hard way as a startup, especially a technology startup. So when we started at first, we because we knew how to build the technology, we went ahead and we built a technology. Actually, we started as a different brand called Petty Gigs. And Petty Gigs was focused around connecting young people to opportunities in their neighborhood so they could do all jobs, and then neighbors could, pay them. And we had a fractional investing embedded into the app that we built so that as they work and made money, they could put, some of that money aside for savings and investing. We were very we were very, it was good starting up. We were very successful ramping up the signups from young people. We had over 15,000 signups. However, we didn't take the chance to do, due diligence and customer discovery. And we found out that, that model that we came up with at first wasn't going to be sustainable, right? And so that help us to go back and redefine the business model. We rebranded, and we started to focus on connecting young people with companies instead of individuals. And we're seeing that that model is a much better model. So yeah, so if I was sum it up, it's crucial to get to know your customers when you get started, and that will help you to go a long way.
That's great. Got to know the target market, right?
Yeah.
And sometimes you learn that the hard way. So I guess that leads into the second question. That is a great answer for one of the key learnings. Any other learnings that you've had as a business owner now in several years here?
Yeah. So the initial team that you put together, that is very critical to the success of your business as well. So it's good to spend time picking the right people that will go on the journey with you, because it's like a marriage, it's like a marathon. It's not like a sprint. So you want people that would be long-term oriented, and y'all can grow and go through the thicks and thins together. So building my company, I've also learned that by choosing the wrong people, it can lead to some initial distraction. That sometimes is hard to get rid of.
Absolutely. Once they get going, it's hard to work out
Right.
of some of that situations. There's a lot invested already and at risk.
Yeah.
So you're no stranger to hard work. I can tell by just the number of degrees that you have and that commitment to do that and launch one company and rethink it, launch into a different type model.
Right.
Um, as a business owner, there's tons of misconceptions out there about being a business owner. So what are
Right.
some of those that you had or maybe have experienced yourself and kind of figured out?
Right. Yeah. So, especially if you come up with an idea that you're passionate about, you're thinking, okay, this is going to take me, 1 or 2 years, and I'm going to blow up, and I'm going to be successful. But it's a good thought to have, but the reality is building a business is a long term, investment, especially if you're building a business that you imagine is going to be, big and successful. You have to work through some growing pains. You have to work through a lot of learnings, and I have had to get some reality check along the way, because what I thought and what the reality was when you're actually building the business.
You mean
Yeah.
that everything we learn in MBA school doesn't necessarily work in small business?
Well, let's just say I had to throw most of those concepts out of the door. Yeah, experience is your best teacher when you're building the
Yes,
business,
sir.
and your ability to, think on your feet and, pivot when you have to. It's not a straightforward thing. Yeah.
Yep, yep. I earned my MBA years ago in my 20s. And yeah, what we deal with in small business is significantly different than what they teach us in the classes, right?
Right.
So, well, great. So you've had a good run at it in at 3 years. What do you attribute your growth to? I mean, the statistics are not many businesses make it even 5 years.
Right.
And so, what do you think some of the keys to your successes so far?
Right. Yeah. So far, one is sticking with it. Right. So when life throw lemons at you, you have to make lemonades. And that is a cliche, but it's a real thing when you're building a business. Stick with it. Let your passion drive you, but also be aware and aligned with reality. So that's one thing. And then the community that you build around you. So I've been really opportune to have some good entrepreneurial ecosystem around me as I built this business, which I will attribute some of my success to. So organizations like the NC Idea and organizations like TechStars, these organizations have really been pivotal to help refining my thoughts and concepts with the business, and as well as building that entrepreneurial support as we build.
And that's fantastic. The wisdom of just being aware of um, not trying to do it all on your own, but surround yourself with some capable, insightful folks that can help you
Correct.
kind of keep things straight. Um, that's fantastic. But for anyone building a business, there becomes this challenge of balance. right?
Right.
There's a lot of energy, a lot of time, a lot of focus. Even when we're away from work, the wheels are still turning, right? So
Right.
how do you work through that, whether it be your own physical health, mental health, family, friends? How do you navigate the balance between the work demands in your own life?
Yeah, that's a situation that I had to learn, the hard way. And for me, I have come to the conclusion that the business I'm building is not my identity. So you have to separate your true identity from the business that you're building. And if you successfully do that, you can, draw lines of boundary between what is considered work and what should matter, like family life, taking care of your own, physical and mental sanity. So these are things that you learn along the way because you're right. If you're building something, especially something that you're passionate about, that thing is consistently on your mind, right? But it takes a level of growth. It takes a level of experience to slowly draw that line. Um, Once you becoming burned out, and again, surrounding yourself around coaches and people that will guide you through that, especially as like a young founder or first time business founder. It can be hard to distinguish, but
Mhm.
yeah.
Excellent. That's great. So you mentioned part of the key to one of the keys to your successes and learnings is being able to select really good, people that either work with you, work around you. When it comes to looking for employees, what are some of your learnings? What do you look for in a person? And I got to say, with your story coming, as a refugee, I mean, you're resilient, you're determined to get to where you are already. And boy, I mean, is that what you look for in employees as well? Because not many people have that story to use as a reference point.
Right. Yeah, that's the first thing I look for. Obviously, talent is key. But I've seen a lot of talented people that don't share the passion, right?
Mhm.
So you want people that first of all share the passion, people who are willing to learn, people who have resilience, and people who have shared a vision with you. So this was not intentional for me, but like my entire C-level team, they're all immigrants who experience the issues that I experienced. They share the vision with me. They have had to fight adversity all of their life,
Wow.
and they're focused on making this thing happen with me. And so these are the kind of people I look for, people who are willing to learn, people who don't have all of the answers, but are willing to go and look for the answers. If you surround yourself, for me, at least personally, I feel like if I surround myself by those people, that's a great culture, and you're building a culture that is, really inspired to go get what they need to get.
That's all. I mean, great wisdom, great experience, firsthand experience for you in building your team. So as we kind of approach the end here, based on what you've already experienced and what you know, what kind of words of, in addition to what you've already shared, what words of wisdom would you share with an emerging entrepreneur, somebody that's either looking to start their own business or maybe in the early stages, to be able to really build a strong foundation and excel in this new business that they have?
Right. Yeah. I'll say people are your best asset. Whether it be mentors that you put around you to guide you, whether it be the team that you're building, and whether it be the initial investor that invests in you. Um, Let them have the people attribute. Let your long-term vision, let everything align. and your team, especially build a team that will go through the trenches with you. Um, you know, investment is, especially if you're building a company that's meant to be big. Some people worry about just getting the investment and going. I will, encourage first-time founders to be very decisive in terms of who to take their first check from or who to take subsequent checks from. Not all money is good money. Make sure you take money from investors that are going to help you to go a long way, and not investors that would be like a short-term, short-term focus kind of a person,
Gotcha.
right? So it all surrounds people, right? So,
Right.
for me,
Not just employees, but investors and mentors.
exactly.
Excellent. Excellent. Well, William, this has been fantastic. What if somebody wants to reach out to you or get in touch with your organization, what's the best way that they can find you?
Yeah, so I'm very active on LinkedIn. You can find me on LinkedIn, or you can find me, reach me through email. That's William@goflexie.com. William at GOFLEXIE.com. Right. And real quickly, David, so I didn't really speak on the types of customers that we, tailor our services to.
Please.
But Flexi focuses on customers that usually hire teenagers and young adults between the ages of 16 to 24. We focus on service-based companies who have high turnover and looking to build a pipeline of employees. We've had the opportunity to work with national brands like Chick-fil-A and McDonald's, and the YMCA. And so if companies fall in those categories, we'd love to talk to them.
That's fantastic. It sounds like
Yeah.
you're having a lot of successes and helping out not only employers who are in need of employees, but also matching those up with great talent as well.
Correct.
So, William Ward with Flexi, I appreciate you being on the Business Spotlight today. Thanks for
Yeah.
thanks for participating and sharing your wisdom.
Thank you, David, for having me. I appreciate it.
Absolutely.